The gentleman from Texas is recognized for 5 minutes.
Madam Chairman, I rise to offer an amendment which addresses another restrictive and misguided federal regulation. Section 526.
The gentleman will suspend. Members and staff are asked to take their conversations off the floor. The gentleman deserves to be heard.
Section 526 of the Energy Independence and Security Act prohibits federal agencies from entering into contracts for the procurement of an alternative fuel unless its life cycle greenhouse gas emissions are less than or equal to emissions from an equivalent conventional fuel produced from conventional petroleum sources. In summary, my amendment would stop the government from enforcing this ban on all federal agencies funded by the Department of Homeland Security Appropriations bill. The initial purpose of Section 526 was to stifle Defense Department's plans to buy and develop coal-based or coal-to-liquids jet fuels. This restriction was based on the opinion of environmentalists that coal-based jet fuel produces more greenhouse gas emissions than traditional petroleum. We must ensure that our military has adequate fuel resources and can efficiently rely on domestic and more stable sources of fuel. But Section 526's ban on fuel choice now affects all federal agencies, not just the Defense Department. This is why I'm offering this amendment today to the DHS appropriations bills. Federal agencies should not be burdened with wasting their time studying fuel emissions when there is a simple fix, and that fix is to not restrict the federal government fuel choices based on environmental views, unsound policies, or misguided regulations like those in Section 526. With increasing competition for energy and fuel resources and the continued volatility and instability in the Middle East, it is now more important than ever for our country to become more energy secure and to further develop and produce our domestic energy resources. Placing limits on federal agencies' fuel choices is an unacceptable precedent to set in regard to America's energy policy and independence. Chair, Section 526 makes our nation more dependent on Middle East oil. Stopping the impact of Section 526 will help us promote American energy, improve American energy security, improve the American economy, and create more American jobs. Madam Chairman, it is also important to note that this amendment does not prevent and does not restrict the ability of the federal government to purchase any alternative fuels, including biodiesel, ethanol, or other fuels from renewable sources. It places no restrictions whatsoever on that. Let's remember the following facts about Section 526. It increases our reliance on Middle Eastern oil. It hurts our military readiness, our national security, and our energy security. It prevents the increased use of safe, clean, and efficient North American oil and gas. It increases the cost of American food and energy. It hurts American job and the American economy. And last but certainly not least, it costs our taxpayers more of their hard-earned dollars. I offer this amendment to the appropriations bills during the 112th Congress, and they all passed on the floor of the House with strong bipartisan support. My friend Mr. Conaway also added similar language to the Defense Authorization Bill today to exempt the Defense Department from this burdensome regulation. I urge my colleagues to support passage of this common sense amendment. I yield back the balance of my time.
The gentleman yields back for what purpose?